Hello and welcome to the Creativity Podcast. Basically, last episode was a mess, and this episode is going to be only a little bit of a mess, and that's the Creativity Pop brand. So basically, this episode I talk about my New York trip that I took earlier this year, and the rest of these podcast episodes are not going to have this little preface, or preface, however you pronounce it. But these episodes I felt like needed it, so you'd know there's more before and after in episode 1. So feel free to go back to that one and listen. You're not really gonna get more out of this one by listening to that one, but I'd appreciate it if you did go back and listen to episode 1. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's talk about New York. That was a long pause because I was thinking about something. I went to New York at the start of this summer. Some people don't know, some people do. Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna tell you about it. So basically, I went with my mom. We went to various places around. We went to Times Square a couple of times. We saw SpongeBob on Broadway, which was really fun. Like, really quality musical. Like, we just thought, oh, hey, we can tell people we went to a Broadway show. And then we were like, whoa, what if we see SpongeBob? And then we can tell people we went to see SpongeBob on Broadway. But it was like, we had actually heard like nothing about it before going, and then we heard like in line to buy the tickets there were people like praising it and saying, oh, I've seen that like 20 times in the last month or something. And so it was interesting getting hyped up while we were in line already planning to see that, but then being like, it might be actually good. And it was honestly really good. I really enjoyed my time there. Not only New York, but also SpongeBob on Broadway. It had a really solid like story, which was weird. I haven't seen any SpongeBob in a while. But they also had a lot of good jokes, like quality ones. And the soundtrack is really great, but the only one that they've put out is like their pre-production one. So it doesn't even like, it almost doesn't hold a candle to the final production. So just go in knowing nothing if you ever get a chance to see it. I live in Wichita, Kansas, but I'd love to just go with my friends to New York just to see the SpongeBob musical. That would be amazing. But sadly, that is quite a lot of money that not a lot of us have, including me. So that will have to wait if we ever get to do it. But it's really incredible. I really love it. And then we went to a fun little comic book shop called Midtown Comics. And we went to the one that was in Times Square. There's a few around that town. It was fun. They had some graphic novels around, which are I believe what I understand is that they're the thicker ones that hold multiple comics in them, and not just comics. So I bought a couple, and I saw a couple that were really cool. I'm a big fan of crossover comics. Let's talk about that for a minute. Like, crossover comics are honestly my absolute favorite, and like crossovers are amazing. I love them so much. Over here on my shelf, I'm leaning right now. I have Justice League Power Rangers. I honestly haven't read it yet, but it looks really good. I like, just like cross things. Like, I have both of the graphic novels of Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They did 2 recently. One is, sorry, I got a bit loud. One is the animated Nickelodeon version and mixed with the animated series Batman, so they're both a little bit more cartoony. And the other one is based on like the more grittier Batman mixed with a grittier Ninja Turtles. So honestly, I haven't read those either. I really need to get around to doing that. They also have DC and Looney Tunes crossovers, which I'm really excited to read. I have the first one. Again, I haven't read it yet. But they're doing a second one this year. I saw a few of the comics in stores and was very tempted to buy them. But as I said, I don't have much expense right now. But they're pretty interesting. I think I saw Joker and Daffy Duck. One of my favorite ones I saw was Gossamer and Harley Quinn. That looked really interesting. But I bought a few from the first DC and Looney Tunes one before I bought the graphic novel, which is kind of stupid because now I own them basically twice. So I think I'll just wait from now on just to get the book. I like collecting number ones and like crossovers, but it's not very useful to do that because I don't even like selling them all that much. But there's that. There's also a DC and Hanna-Barbera, which I think I have the first one of. I think I got that one in New York from that place. And I know they did a second one recently, or they are doing a second one. I really, really, really want the DC and Marvel ones. Just the graphic novels, but those are like $50. It's crazy. But I really enjoy them. I just can't get myself to do it. I actually have a number one of, I think it's Superman and the Hulk. I haven't read it, but I really like the fact that I was able to get one of those for relatively cheap. It was maybe like $15, which you may think is a lot for a comic book, but that's DC and Marvel, and they almost never cross over anymore. So that's really cool. I have the Comixology app, which I used to have a membership for, but I just recently quit it because I don't like to emphasize this, but I don't have much to spending money. So I have here, let me see in my books, I have Superman / Batman versus Alien / Predator. Haven't read it yet, but pretty excited to, honestly. I just haven't gotten the chance to, but they're on my phone, so I don't get why. I also have Dark Horse Comics / DC Comics, The Mask Meets Batman, or The Mask versus Batman. They won't load very fast, so I won't let them. But that one seems really interesting. I like The Mask. And apparently in the movie of it is pretty great, in my opinion. But apparently in the comics he's like a murderer. I never knew that, but I watch a lot of like videos, like what's it called? Video essays. I watch a lot of video essays on like movies because they're really interesting to me. Like they'll talk about how the Mask was a murderer in the comics and like how it's basically like a PG or PG-13 movie that they made on it. Like they could go way more gruesome if they wanted to make another one, especially with kid-friendly Son of the Mask. I don't want to talk about that one. I haven't seen that in a really long time. Okay, back to New York. I guess we can talk about. I guess we'll go back to New York. I went to Grand Central Station. That was fun looking at. I also rode trains for the first time. As I said, I'm from Wichita, so riding on trains is a very foreign concept. I guess not necessarily trains. I can't remember the other word. The metro. Metro, yeah. I rode the metro, and that was pretty fun. I also rode a bus, but they wouldn't stop for me, and we missed our stop. So I just had to get off at the next one and then walk to the destination. But oh well. I riding the metro was pretty fun, honestly. I really liked doing that. We messed up a few times, but it was always fun getting on, being like, alright, let's go. I remember one time we were really starving, and we just got up off the metro, and there was a Chipotle across the street, so we were like, alright, let's go to that Chipotle. The Chipotle was closed. I remember there was something that we were looking for a bit down the road, and we mapped to it, and it took us in the opposite direction, and we were like, oh man, we're still really hungry. And so we went back to where we got out, and there was an Applebee's right there. So we just ate at the Applebee's. Probably spent more than we had at that play at New York, I guess, excluding my Lego purchases, which we will not speak on yet. But but it was fun. I like Applebee's. I don't go there very often, even though I have one probably like 2 minutes away from my house. But anyway, oh no, that's. I hope I'm not doxing myself. Oh well, don't come to my house, please. Also in New York, we went to, I forget the name of that place. It was the same place that, Michael Scott in The Office went to when he was in New York, getting a New York slice, but apparently those places are, like, everywhere. And so we went there, like, twice, because it was right across the street from our hotel, and we really liked it. So, and it wasn't too expensive. I definitely recommend that place. It's called Sbarro's. They had some really good pizza. Really, really good pizza. And we also walked a lot. Walked a whole lot, so it made up for eating really good pizza. I don't think we had a New York place, except for one, but it wasn't very good. I'm not gonna lie. I wish we had gotten more recommendations. There was one place that we ate that was pretty good, and then one night we were like, we want a dessert, so we walked over to this one place that was like almost a block away from our hotel, and they had some of the best like pastries and stuff that we've ever had. And well, not ever had, but it was really, really great. Let's see. We stayed around Pennsylvania Station, I think. It was Hotel Pennsylvania, which I definitely stay in. If you go there, that's like a really good place to stay. There was a Target across the street. I really love Target, but we only went there once. So, it wasn't too big of a Target, but it was still like, I like going to Target a lot, obviously. There's one across town, and then there's two pretty decently close to me, and I really like going to Target overall. So I'm surprised I only went once, but it wasn't all that in a bag of chips. It was just alright. There was also a Vans store pretty close. That was when the Marvel shoes were out and about. I got two different pairs. One was the Deadpool high tops, And then I also got, I'm looking at them, but I don't know what they are called. The multicolor was the one with all the Marvel faces on it, but that's not what I got. I got the one with like the Captain America shield on the back, Thor's wings on the sides, green on the bottom for Hulk, and then Iron Man tongue of the shoe. So that's pretty descriptive. I wear those ones a lot because they're very comfy at this stage. Sorry I say quite a bit. I catch things like that. I took a speech class in high school that was like college level, pretty much, and so I can hear the things that I lean back on necessarily, and it annoys me sometimes when I notice it, or if I notice other people who like is another crutch term. There's or even like going silent for a bit. Those are all very normal crutches, which you just tend to fall back on. It's pretty annoying. But I have them. I notice them though, and I improve myself as I notice them. I'm going to say, let's see what else. There was a New York store close to us at our hotel, and we went in it one of the last days, and they sold some pretty decent stuff, but the seller was like, name your price. Like he kept on showing us different things, which, I mean, his shirts weren't the best thing in the world, but some of the other things were pretty interesting, but none of the things in there had prices, and he was just like, name your price. And that seems kind of shady to me, and so we just left. There was also a mall kind of close to us, and there were no like seats in the mall. There used to be a Toys R Us there, but that was a little after they were starting to close down, so that one had to close down, sadly, because I honestly really like Toys R Us. I feel like a lot of people, what, you like Toys R Us? Yeah, I'm a child, I like Toys R Us. Toys R Us is fun to look around in, and they had the space in there carved out for it to be there, but they took it out, essentially. So oh yeah, with the mall, they had a Starbucks in there, so we'd get our breakfast, like whatever, like bagel or whatever, and then they had like egg sandwiches, so we got those, and then we were like, what do we do? We just kind of stood at like a point and just ate there. It was a very small mall. There wasn't too many interesting places in there. There was one that was called like Danger Zone or something like that, and they sold like leather jackets and stuff like that. It was honestly pretty funny because they had ammo, like, what's it called? They had those ammo boxes that like you see in like video games, but they had those like stacked up to display items. It was so weird. But it was pretty interesting to look in there. Everything was kind of overpriced. I mean, they had buy one get one shirts or something like that going on, and the shirts weren't all that bad, but they didn't have my size, so we just skedaddled and then went on with our day. That was pretty much the end of it. The plane ride, I had a pretty bad headache. I don't ride trains. I mean planes, trains, planes, and automobiles. I I don't ride in planes too often. Like I've only ridden in a plane like once before, maybe. Um, I think yeah, I think it was just one other time. Um, and that was specifically a one way. We drove back, which I don't need to get into the specifics of that. But with this one, we took a train, or no, we took a plane to another place, and then we took that plane to a different place, which I think was New Jersey, and then we took a train from there and then went there, and then eventually we took the train back, and then we took the plane back to that place, and then we took that plane back to my home. So that's where we went. It was fun. Of course, I liked the idea of it, but I got really bad headaches on, I think, all 4 of those plane trips, which was not pleasant. But I read some comics on my device, so that was fun. Let's see. Do I want to talk more about New York? Do you want to hear more about New York? I don't think anyone cares, but we'll keep talking for a little bit more. We took the Staten Island ferry one of the days to see the Statue of Liberty. That was a pretty fun ride. I really liked going on that. But I was kind of tired on the way back, and I was like, I just want to sit, you know? that was kind of New York sometimes. I was like, I just want to sit for a little bit. Can I just sit? That would be cool. And there weren't as many places to sit in, like, say, Wichita. Believe it or not, it was kind of hard to find places to sit sometimes. And I'd be like, man, I'm just so tired. I want to sit right now. But no place for a while. And sometimes I'd sit a lot because I'm like, yo, we walked 2 steps. There's nowhere to sit anywhere else, so I'm going to sit right now. Let's see. We saw the 9/11 memorial. That was interesting. They have like fountains. There's a hat that I liked. Commercialism. There was a hat they were selling that I kind of liked, but I decided against it. That was about it, but it was interesting because they had the names everywhere. They had the fountains where the buildings were, and then surrounding were like, I guess slabs, that built up a wall that basically had all the names in it. And there was one spot that I specifically remember. It had a rose sticking up out of the name. And I tried to take a good picture of that, but it was kind of crowded and I didn't want people in it, so. My problems, am I right? But it was very interesting to see that. Knowing that, I guess I have more or less lived through it. I was 1 when it happened, or yeah, I was 1. But it's kind of humbling to see that kind of thing. Taking it to a more serious note, I guess. But it was interesting. Also, we couldn't find where the second. We found the first one, and then for some reason we couldn't find the second one, which was weird. But then somebody directed us, and we were like, "All right, we're stupid." So we found the second one. But it was very interesting to see. And next to that, there was a building. I forget what it was, but I think it was like a mall slash train station. We never went in there, but it has some pretty interesting architecture, with like spikes that go up. I may put pictures on screen. I don't know if I will. We'll see. We'll see how much I want to do with this, or how much I want to cut out, because I'll probably cut a lot of this, especially the beginning. As I said, it was an ASMR horror experience. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, it was the fountains were pretty interesting just to see those, and then just kind of remembering that there was a building there, like one of the tallest buildings in the world. I think it was the tallest building in the world. Sorry, I said before I'm kind of tired, but I feel like that's a fact that I should know by heart. I just can't remember that specifically. It probably makes me stupid, but but it was pretty interesting to know that I could be looking up at it, but before I was really able to take it all in, it was me looking down at the fountain. So it was really interesting. People were there were a lot of people there, but there were quite a few spaces for us to just kind of look at the fountain and listen to it falling down. Let's see. They also had a pretty cool building next to both the building with the interesting architecture and the towers where they once stood. They had a place, I think it was the federal government building or something like that, but it has like some beautiful murals on there, which was really interesting to look at. And all of them were like in their own, you could tell that it was done by different artists and that they all had their own style, which was really cool to look at. Alright, let's talk about the Lego store. Just kind of to move on from that. We went to the Lego store, and I spent over $200 there. So we had saved up quite a bit to go, and we knew we were gonna spend some money. So I spent $200 at the Lego store. It's weird. But they had a few exclusive Lego store sets, and we don't have a Lego store near Wichita necessarily. They're usually in there might be one in Oklahoma City, I don't remember, but I know there's one in Kansas City, and usually they're only in bigger cities. So I wanted to get the exclusive ones. So they had a little, I have it right here. They have the little module Lego store, and it has their little pick-a-brick wall. It has a nice little let me see, let me look at it real quick. It has a little town that they built up. It has some represented Lego sets. It has their build a minifigure little section, which if you haven't built a minifigure there, it's pretty fun. And Lego stores, sponsor me and bring one to Wichita. But their build a minifigure stations are honestly pretty fun. They usually contain pieces from the Lego minifigure series, and they're sometimes they have some like exclusive pieces. They had a graduation cap in there for a while. I don't know if they still do, but they did when I was there. Yeah, there's just some interesting pieces in there, like hard to find ones. Like they don't put them in any sets pretty much anymore. But sorry, I'm getting further and further away from the microphone. I know in the beginning I was pretty close to it, so. But another thing, I'm looking around to see what else I had purchased. I got the Tron set. That was a last minute choice because I needed $100 to get the promotional set, and so I was like, well, I saw someone have the Tron set, so I'll get it. I got a little pencil holder that I keep on my desk now over here with my pencils, ASMR. And it has a little dude. It's shaped in a house, and it has a little garage. I like that quite a bit. So, I also, the main set that pretty much before going to New York, I pretty much knew I was gonna get it. They had a big model of the Statue of Liberty. It's a Lego architecture set, and it's basically in a scale. I don't know what scale, but it's to scale. Well, no, to scale means it's the same size, doesn't it? I don't know how big it is. I know it's not big as the Statue of Liberty, but it uses a lot of really cool techniques to build it. And I built it quite a while ago. I've had it on display ever since. It's on my Instagram and maybe my Twitter. I don't think I put it on Twitter, but I know it's on my Instagram. I know I took a picture of the Statue of Liberty, the actual one, and then I overlaid the Lego one on top of it. It looks really cool. It's like the only one in my display right now, besides the newer brickheads. Because I like the brickheads. If you haven't seen the brickheads, I kind of like them. Some of them look kind of weird. I'm kind of excited for the Boba Fett one. Sorry to get off track. I just like going off on tangents sometimes. But some of the brickheads are kind of cool. I really like the... what is this one? Whoa, that was Olaf. I like the Olaf one quite a bit. It was in a 2-pack with Anna. I keep the Olaf one on my desk, and I have the Anna one where I said I have the brickheads. I also have the Harry Potter and Hedwig over there as well. I have the Aquaman one on my desk because I got it for $5, and I've liked the way it looks for a while. I got it for $5 at Target. We went to, I guess this was in Times Square, but they had a nice little... Oh yeah, they had the Nintendo store. That was extremely fun. I think it's the only one in the US. That was awesome, man. It's a really awesome store. I'd love to go to that more. They have little events there every now and again. I thought that Sonic Mania was gonna release while we were there. I was a month late for that. Forward. And then the Lego Incredibles game was released, I think, the day before we left. So I guess that'll let you know when we left. But, so I bought that, but I don't think they had an event for that, but, you know, it's possible that they did. So, that was sad that we missed that. But they had little Nintendo plushes. I have a plush of Cappy above my bed, and I really like that one. I like Cappy, and it's his original ghost form. It's a little nice plush. And then above the Nintendo stuff, they had Pokemon stuff, because it used to be actually the Pokemon Center, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it used to be the Pokemon Center. And then they just moved that stuff upstairs, and then Nintendo stuff is primarily on the ground floor. So they had some stuff on sale, and they had sorry, I'm really excited about this one. They had a Beware, which a lot of you guys probably don't know Pokemon, but they had a Beware dressed up like a Dusclops, and it looks really, really cute. And it was a little bit on sale, not too much, but it was a little bit on sale. So I snatched that up as quickly as I could, because that's like a Halloween one from last year. So it was awesome that they had it. They also had a little Ditto coin purse / ID holder, and it has a retractable lanyard type thing, and I really like that. I've kept it in my bag for a little bit, but I haven't actually used it for its intended purpose. And then they also had like all the consoles from their history upstairs. So that was fun to look at. I really liked going there. I also got a water bottle that says Nintendo of New York, and I got a hat. I forgot about that hat. It says Nintendo of New York as well, and it has a cool little logo on it. So yeah, I believe that's all about New York. I've spoken that in length. I think I've been talking about that for 30 minutes, because I believe I started talking around 14 minutes into this recording, like an actual podcast. So I didn't have a specific outro for this episode, besides the ones that were played in like the middle of episode 1. So I'll just be here to say goodbye. Hope you've enjoyed everything. Feel free to watch the last episode, which has things that I talked about after New York. Not specifically things that happened after New York, but just things that happened. And listen to some more, you know? I might have more out. I should be editing NickNgoc-E-Talkie Podcast soon. Whenever that happens. So just like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things. There's a bell. People joke about the bell. It'll help you see the videos if you subscribe. So enjoy life. Goodbye.